Hello Procrastinator, Sam here, and today the Sonic social media team posted a new video called Sonic Frontiers Overview, so let's go over it. Alrighty, so we're going to watch the video first, do an analysis, and then I'll give you guys more of my thoughts on Frontiers at the end. So here we go. Okay.
In Sonic's newest adventure, he's headed to the Starfall Islands in search of Chaos Emeralds with his friend, Amy and Tails, when trouble strikes, suddenly sucking their plane into a dimensional portal.
Tornado?
Our bristly hero awakens in a strange digital world called cyberspace.
This is new.
Despite being separated from his friends,
Sonic miraculously escapes from this alternate dimension and arrives on Kronos,
one of the beautiful Starfall Islands.
This is new.
A curious wilderness full of ancient ruins, strange inhabitants, and sinister enemies. Our loyal blue hedgehog must now find his lost friends, explore this exotic world, and solve the mystery of the Starfall Islands.
Oh, come on, show us some more new footage. Okay.
Sonic Frontiers expands on what fans know and love about traditional Sonic games, combining linear level gameplay and open zone platforming into
I don't know if we would say we love linear gameplay, but okay.
The world map is bigger than ever, giving Sonic more room to run and explore his surroundings.
Looks cool. More footage of the
Sonic Frontiers offers high-speed, open-zone gameplay that gives you the freedom to play the game in the order that best matches your playstyle.
And I love that.
Engage in exhilarating combat with exciting new enemies. Solve intriguing puzzles.
What is that?
And complete fun side quests to help rescue Sonic's friends. Solving puzzles will reward the player with items that can increase Sonic's power and defense. Reveal hidden parts of the map and unlock new ways to navigate the island at fast speeds.
Okay.
Scattered around the Starfall Islands are cyberspace portals. Defeat bosses throughout the island.
That boss looks cool.
Portal gears that unlock these stages. You'll need to complete challenges within each cyberspace
We saw this footage already.
Vault keys that can be used to unlock Chaos Emerald vaults and allow you to progress further in the game. In Sonic Frontiers, Sonic's combat gets an upgrade, making battling enemies more exciting and fluid than ever before. With an all-new skill tree system featuring a host of new abilities to unlock and level up. You'll have plenty of options to fight strategically, combine dodges.
Wow, you guys saw his facial expression there?
Counters, and more. If you prefer more straightforward gameplay, check out Auto Combos, where various attack combos can be executed with a single button.
Really?
These modes make it possible for all Sonic fans to easily enjoy the fast and flexible new combat system. Sonic's enhancements don't stop there. He's learned a new ability called Psyloop, a band of light that mirrors Sonic's tracks. Surround enemies, items, and areas to uncover different effects and unlock all
That was such a messy Psyloop trail.
Get ready to blaze your own trail and forge a new frontier in Sonic Frontiers.
What was that?
Available November 8th. Stay tuned for more details.
All right, hold on. We got to go over it. There's a good amount of parts I do want to go over here. So we didn't see a whole lot of new footage, but there is little bits I do want to talk about. The reason I laughed when I saw him collect the blue Chaos Emerald was because somebody made a joke that we keep seeing only the blue Chaos Emerald in almost all the footage. So people are saying we're going back to Sonic Spinball where they're all blue, but no. But yeah, it's just funny. First thing I do want to mention is this CGI cutscene. There's a lot of stuff I discussed over the course of live streams, and I'm going to condense all my thoughts here into this one video for those that may have not caught those live streams. So this is a perfect overview of my thoughts as well. For those that don't know, this CGI cutscene that was in the trailer looked fantastic. I even said I really hope these are in-game cutscenes. They look beautiful. It's already been confirmed by the footage we've seen at Gamescom. There is an in-game cutscene version of what's happening here on screen, making me believe that they're kind of pulling a forces again, where a lot of the beautiful CGI stuff we're seeing from Marza is not going to actually be in the game. It's purely going to be for advertising purposes, and that's kind of a shame. These look beautiful. I really wish they would put CGI cutscenes back into Sonic the Hedgehog video games, but I don't think Frontiers is going to do that. But, you know, regardless, let's continue on here. He mentions the plane, so that is interesting. I've heard that multiple times, from reports that, you know, it starts with them on a plane, they get sucked into a port. So I wonder if the tornado makes a return, and if that's the case, I wonder what tornado. Do you guys think it's going to be the classic tornado that we've seen? Maybe the tornado from Sonic Unleashed, the tornado from Sonic Adventure? Let me know your guys' thoughts. I really want to know what kind of. I know that's such a geeky thing to think about, but we haven't seen the tornado in a minute, and we've seen a lot of the classic tornado recently, so maybe they're going to change it up. I don't know. But yeah, we see more of the city level here. More of the cyberspace zones. So I do want to give my thoughts on the cyberspace zones. Again, this is, some of you probably already heard my thoughts, but this is going to be for those that may have missed the live streams. Obviously, you know, as a Sonic fan, I engage with every new thing that comes out. A lot of us fans did start to feel burnout a lot with a lot of the returning zones, the green hills, the chemical plants. You know, we've seen them multiple times. So my initial reaction to seeing those return yet again was a bit of a sigh. I was like, you know, I could have done without it. Am I bothered to the point where I think it's gonna harpen my entire enjoyment of the game? No, and I'll explain why now. If you guys don't really know by now, the cyberspaces in Sonic Frontiers is essentially going to be treated like special stages. They're not the meat of the game. As people would like you to believe, early on, people with the iGen capability were like, it's all about the cyberspace, it's all about the... No, it's not. Cyberspace is more like special stages. You're not going to be dealing with those so much as you'll be in the open world. So in that regard, I'm not too bothered by it, by them returning to Green Hill and Chemical Plant and Sky Sanctuary and various other zones that are probably going to return from Generations, because, you know, I'm not too bothered by it, because again, it's not the meat of the game. The meat of the game is the open world. That's where I'm going to spend most of my time, most likely. This isn't like the same thing as Forces, where when we return to those zones, that was the game. So it doesn't feel as intrusive this time as it did that time. For those that don't know my thoughts on the fact that they are reusing zone layouts, I wasn't too keen on the idea of that either, mainly because of something very important. Sonic's movements in this game are different, and that's very important, and that's something I advocated for when I heard they were going to make an open world Sonic game, was that the boost-styled Sonic controls that we've had in Generations and Forces, more so Forces, it didn't control good. And if we were going to have full 3D movements of him, it would have felt sluggish. So what Sonic Team did in this game is very genius. If you guys don't know from Gamescom, there is a menu where you could move and change the sliders of your turn speed, your jump height, your control as a whole. You can change the control to what you want, and that is genius. I think that's probably one of the smartest moves Sonic Team has made in like 20 years, is to give you the option of what control style you'd like. You could probably make it control a bit more like Adventure, or more like Unleashed, or more like Forces if you want. You could do that now, and that's awesome. But my problem with them reusing level layouts was that those layouts were designed with a specific movement style in mind. I'm talking about more like the Generations things, where it's more condensed. It's more like a hallway. And I didn't like the sound of that. I thought, you know, especially when you saw the gameplay for our Green Hill Zone that was in Generations, but in Frontiers, it didn't look as engaging as it was in Generations, because the movement is completely different now. So again, it's not a big deal. I'm not like, you know, saying this is probably gonna make the whole game suck. No, not at all. Not at all. But that was my thoughts on the cyberspace, was that, you know, it was a bit of a shame that they're returning to those zones, but I know they're trying to do this whole It's Sonic's Memories things, all that stuff. I have to wait till the game comes out to know how valid of an excuse that is. But right out of the gate, I would have preferred to see something new. And the main reason why I bring this up too is because, I don't know if you guys seen the footage of the city level, it looks fantastic. The footage we saw for the city level in Sonic Frontiers is probably the best designed cyberspace stage I've seen so far. There's so much freedom of movement. There's no splines. He's not stuck on rails where you can only quick step. You're able to move left and right, and there's so many pathways. When he jumps through the ring on the left there's a pathway you could continue on. If you keep pausing the video at that moment, you will see all these pathways that are actually playable, that you could go. It like branches out. It's awesome. I wish we had more cyberspace levels like that than the ones that are returning, which we know are not designed like that. But regardless, that's my thoughts on the cyberspace levels. I'm not too like hurt by it. I think some of them look cool, some of them are okay, but in the end I would have preferred new, because I know this is a new generation for Sonic, new control, new open world level design. I want to see more new than something we've already played. But again, regardless, not too worried about it. And that's enough of the cyberspace. They talk about the Starfall Islands. I want to mention the new island we've been seeing. Obviously, the first island looks beautiful. We've seen enough about it. The desert world looks incredible. I love what I'm seeing in that desert world, especially the fact that it looks like the enemies in the desert world are also unique to the desert world, especially this boss here too, by the way. There is, I know there is some returning enemies that are in the desert world, and that's fine, I understand that, but it does seem like the desert world does have some new stuff going for it, as well as this new mini boss. I loved how this boss looks in Frontiers. It looks fantastic. I love how many ways you could take it down. You can bounce off the gates, or you could do a bunch of combos on it. You can side loop it. There's a lot you could do there, and I like having the freedom to take down bosses in multiple ways in the game. They also do talking about open zone platforming, and that's fantastic, obviously, with the new gameplay style, as I mentioned. These enemies here look unique. So this is obviously some sort of homing attack pathway like we've seen in a lot of modern Sonic games, but it looks like this might be a timed thing. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like the sides of those enemies will hurt you, so you gotta time your homing attack right. I like that. I like what they're doing here, where it feels like it's a more engaging gameplay than we've seen in recent Sonic games. You have to be engaged, you have to time it right. I do want to mention here that thing in the back that is flying, that looks like an animal capsule, if I'm not mistaken. That really does look like an animal capsule. I wonder if Flickies are in this game. I don't think we've seen anything regarding that yet, but let me know your guys' thoughts on what exactly that is, because that really does look like an animal capsule to me. I love the shot of the desert world, and I've mentioned this in my live stream. It's just so beautiful, the amount of detail there is in this world. And to know, by the way, for those that don't know, I believe we are going to be having 5 islands in this game, and we've only seen 2. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the other worlds will look like if they are in this game, and already these look beautiful. I really love the difference between, you know, the first island to this one. You could really tell that they really wanted you to feel like you are in different biomes in the games, and I love that. And that whole pillar right there with the rails that are moving around. There was a Game Informer, I believe, article that talks about how I believe something like that turns into like a Titan. It's so awesome. You guys, I recommend you guys read it. It gets me so hyped to play Sonic Frontiers. And again, flexible gameplay styles, as they mention here. I love that. Again, the smartest thing Sonic Team has done in a long time, to essentially give us the freedom to do what we want. And this here looks interesting. This is like another puzzle where it looks like you have to side loop it. It creates a ball, and then you have to home attack it at the right angle to like get it to shoot into a ring. Interesting mechanic.
Increase Sonic's power and defense.
So they talk about rewarding the player with unique things that will increase his power and defense. So RPG elements, and that is really important for open world games. Gives us the incentive to return to the game, grind out some levels, do the best we can. You know, I love that. I hope that the upgrades are worthwhile, and I hope the mini games are fun, they're engaging, and they take advantage of Sonic's movesets, and they're not like press a button or push a block. I know some of the early ones we saw with IGN were very much like push a button, but I'm hoping that was just a one-time thing. I'm hoping there is more in this game that is fun and engaging and maybe high speed. This boss here looks incredible. I mentioned this beforehand when they showed the this boss, I think, for the Sonic Central, the second Sonic Central. I really like this boss. Yes, it is kind of more of the quick stepping things we've seen in modern Sonic, but you know, there seems to be a good amount of bosses in this game, and that's great. I do like that, and I'm okay with it being like quick step if there's multiple bosses in this game. If it's like the same boss that's repeated over and over again, it would get repetitive, but if this is like a one-time thing, you get to fight this boss, and it seems pretty hard, especially when you saw the footage way early on into the year. It looks like it gets pretty difficult, and I love to see that, and I can't wait to see what other mini bosses the desert world has. I know we've seen one already, but I want to see more bosses, more engaging enemies. This tower enemy is also a great example of enemies that I really do like in Frontiers, and the genius and creativity the developers had when developing enemies in this game. It looks like they really upped their game since Forces, and I know that's a really low bar because the enemies in Forces didn't do anything. So this is something I do want to mention here regarding the Chaos Emeralds. There was something else mentioned, I think, in Game Informer, where they mentioned how they collected 4 emeralds on the first island, and then they saw footage of someone else, and one of the emeralds they collected on the first island was the blue emerald. And then when they were in the desert world, they saw someone collect the blue emerald. So it makes me believe that you probably collect 7 Chaos Emeralds on each island. Now, I don't think there's different Chaos Emeralds. I wouldn't know. I don't have the game yet. But what I'm saying is I do think that there's something in the story here where you probably collect all the emeralds, something happens, and then you have to go to another island and collect the emeralds again. So yes, I do believe on each island we're going to have 7 Chaos Emeralds to unlock, hence 7 cyberspace stages to play on each island. Okay, so I do want to mention some stuff here that I talked about in my recent live stream, which I do recommend you guys watch if you guys want to know my full complete thoughts of every single frame of this game. Early on, if you guys remember the IGN gameplay, I was stopping a lot and pausing, and I was looking at a lot of Sonic's animations, going frame by frame, critiquing a lot of stuff, and the majority of people agreed with me. And it was all over Twitter. People were mentioning how janky some of the animations looked. If you guys have noticed, especially this is a clear example of one of them, the animations have been changed. They've been fixed. They added to it. This does not look janky anymore. They turned Sonic horizontally so it looks more natural when he spins around. There's another example of Sonic's falling animation not being as stiff. There's a bunch of other particle effects they added to the combat to make it look better, to make it flow better. This is why we critique, and this is why we say what we want for the series to be better, because guess what? They listened and they've changed some stuff, most likely based on the feedback they got late last year, early this year, because, you know, we love Sonic the Hedgehog. We want the best for him, and whenever I was pausing the stuff, some people were saying, "Oh, you know, this is just ridiculous. Why are you doing this?" This is why, because they seemingly agreed that it could have been better, and they changed it. Whether that was planned already or it was direct feedback from hearing the fans' criticisms, obviously Sonic Team agreed in the end that had to be changed, and they did. So I think this is probably a life lesson to those that did not like seeing us critique. This is why we do it, and Sonic Team agreed, and guess what? Now in the end, we're probably going to have a better product. I do want to pause here. Look at Sonic's expressions here when he got hit. His eyes are open super wide. I like that. I really do like that. That's something I've been advocating for a long time now, is I want Sonic to be really expressive. He's a very expressive character, but we don't see them take advantage of that expressiveness much in the games, especially recently, especially Forces. But yeah, it does look like they are starting to raise that bar a bit in Frontiers, and I like to see that. I really like seeing that. And speaking of which, the in-game cutscenes, even though I would prefer the CGI cutscenes we've been seeing, the in-game cutscenes actually don't look bad at all. The dialogue is great, but the facial expressions are pretty decent. They're not perfect. I would have probably up the expression bar more, use more of the eyebrows, not the eyelids, but it is a vast improvement from what we had in Forces. I know that's a low bar, but an improvement is an improvement, and we have to talk about that. And that's awesome to see that they've acknowledged that, and they're taking more steps to showcase that expressive Sonic attitude that we've come to know in like the movies and other medias. So they mention here auto combos. So that is something I did not know about. That's something that I feel like is a bit of a curse to Sonic Team nowadays, that they seem to simplify more and more things, and I feel like it does it to their detriment. It makes the games feel a little more automatic. It sounds like this is an option, which is great for those that probably need that, probably kids or anyone else to have that. And that's great that it is an option and not forced down the player's throat. I do like that. We got to talk about this real quick. What is this? This is clearly in-game. This is clearly an in-game cutscene of some sort. As you can tell by the graphics, this is not CGI. This is not just for the advertisements. This is in the game. So I'm wondering what's happening here. We see a lot of lightning, like an electric effect. I'm wondering if this is... So if you guys don't know, there was someone that talked about in an article saying that when you collect 100 rings and you don't lose 100 rings, Sonic will get a blue lightning aura boost, and you get a boost indefinitely, and I believe he's a little bit faster. Maybe this is what happens when you get that ability at first, something like that. I gotta say, this looks badass. This is fantastic. I love seeing stuff like that. It makes unlocking stuff feel rewarding in a way, to see Sonic have a little transformation cutscene. I really don't know what's happening here. It could be that blue lightning aura. I don't know if it's some new transformation that we haven't seen before, but this looks awesome. I really do like this shot. I could already tell people on Twitter are going to be going crazy over this shot, but that is fantastic. Okay, that is Sonic Frontiers. That's the overview video released by them today. I'll just quickly give you my thoughts again. I am really looking forward to Sonic Frontiers. I really am. I know a lot of people, when they saw my first initial thoughts on the IGN footage, they get this false sense that I don't like Frontiers, or that I'm not looking forward to it, and you know, I'm hating on the game. All of that is blatantly false. Have you guys seen my reactions? I react to stuff as they come out. So obviously, when the IGN footage came out originally, I'm not going to be up and hype about it, because look at what we had originally with the marketing. It wasn't great. But the recent stuff we've been seeing definitely raised that bar of excitement, and I'm really, really excited for Frontiers now. I think there's a lot of potential in this title, especially in the open world areas and the combat. That is what I'm really looking forward to in Frontiers, especially with some of the cyberspace levels. The city level looks fantastic. Again, I really do recommend you guys watch the city level gameplay. It's probably one of the best 3D boost styled Sonic game designs I've seen in a long time, since Unleashed. I mean that genuinely. Giving us multiple pathways and allowing the player to actually move this time, it's awesome. I know the bar is low, but it really is awesome. And yeah, I'm happy this video came out so I could clearly give my thoughts in a concise manner, so that way everyone's up to speed. No one is curious on what my thoughts are or have to catch the live streams. Now you guys know my full thoughts. I am looking forward to Sonic Frontiers. I'm very hyped for this game. It's obviously not going to be the perfect game. No game ever is. Don't ever go into a game expecting it to be perfect, but there is a lot of good I'm seeing here in this game, and I am extremely excited for the future of Sonic. If this is the start of what Sonic, if this is going to be the base of what Sonic Team wants to do going forward, we are in good hands. So with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please leave a like if you liked it. Leave a dislike if you didn't like it. Comment down below your guys' thoughts. And in the end, make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel for any and all things Sonic Frontiers. I will be covering everything. With all that said, this is Sam, signing out. See you later, procrastinators.